Happy Monday, everybody at Prime Sports World. Welcome back into another edition of Prime Sports World, coming to you on a Monday. Normally, we'd be doing another one of our season preview episodes, but because there was breaking news in the National Football League concerning Deshaun Watson and then finally coming to a decision how his suspension, we have decided we're going to run a show just dedicated on that alone. I've been David Huppin. Right there is joining me is Mr. Christian Simpson. Thank you very much for joining me, Christian. I muted you because I was getting a lot of feedback from your microphone, so I did mute you. So if you could try to fix that, please. But yeah, if you don't know, the Deshaun Watson decision came down today. This has been so if you're looking for consistent content on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, Prime Sports World goes live basically every single day, bringing the most up-to-date content. And also, I'm going to share the StreamYard link into the comment section on the Prime Sports World main Facebook page. So if you want to join us and talk a little bit about this Deshaun Watson situation, you're more than welcome to do so. The StreamYard link is there. But please keep your comments PG, as we don't want to get in trouble with Mark Zuckerberg and whoever owns Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. But yeah, let's take a look at what the decision was made. Let's take a look at the slide here. So Deshaun Watson suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. He was suspended after 24 women accused Watson of sexual misconduct during massage sessions while he was a member of the Houston Texans. Retired Judge Sue L. Johnson made the ruling this morning in a 16-page report. She determined that Watson had engaged in sexual assault against 4 therapists that she had identified in that report. Reportedly, Deshaun Watson will not appeal this suspension of the 6-game suspension. Christian, welcome to the show, man. It's been good to see you. I have not seen you in a while, so it's good to see you, a friendly face. But let's break down this Deshaun Watson situation.
All right, first, is there any feedback from my microphone?
Yes. I'm getting a lot of, I'm hearing myself echo.
That's weird. All right, what about now?
Hello, perfect. No, I'm still getting it, but it's not as bad.
I mean, we knew this was coming, but we didn't know like what the terms were gonna be with the suspension. But I'll just come out and say this: like, man, the NFL has an image problem. David, look, you met me a couple years ago. You know I have a strong passion for this game. I'm coming in on my 12th year of analyzing the NFL. And football has really been a big part of my life since I was 6 years old, right? So almost 20 plus years of football really being an intricate part, of my well-being. But now the NFL truly has an image problem, and they've had one since 2007 with the whole Michael Vick incident. Look at everything that's transpired since then. Ben Roethlisberger in 2010. The Saints bounty scandal, Aaron Hernandez, the Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin situation, Ray Rice, and Ray Rice was about to get away with that until the video came out when they just showed him knocking the hell out of his wife, unfortunately. Kareem Hunt, 2018, Greg Hardy, Josh Gordon, we know he's had problems with some weed. He's an addict. The kid has a problem. Plain and simple. Calvin Ridley, he gets suspended, a full season for gambling on his team, if I'm not mistaken. And then this with Deshaun Watson. And, I'll be the first to say, when this came out, I was one of the people that kept saying, look, he's just trying to get out of Houston. It's funny how all of this happens when he's trying to request a trade. You see what I'm saying? Like, it happened at such an odd time. But the more you saw all these women come out about this, I'm like, nah, he did this. There's no other way around it. And then the hush money and things like that. I think 6 games is a slap on the wrist. The NFL clearly doesn't care about women. I mean, obviously, gambling and smoking some weed takes precedence over assaulting women and being in sexual misconduct in particular situations. You see what I'm saying? So,
I agree with you. I'm actually just shocked. I know the league was pushing for a year. I'm not really sure what to say about this. It's one of those situations a little bit uncomfortable to talk about because as it stands, I know he's settled with women, but he's never really been charged with anything. He's technically innocent. But true. But this is a bad look for the league. It's a bad look for the Browns organization. And the fact that the Browns went out of their way to create the contract the way it is, so basically he can be suspended this season and not lose any money. Also joining us here on the show is Mr. TJ Hopkins. What's up, TJ? Christian, you're getting a really bad echo from me. Please fix it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and leave and then come back in.
Okay, sounds good. What's up, TJ? So we're waiting on the Deshaun Watson. I'm shocked that it's only 6 games. I thought for sure it'd be 8 or at least 8. On the other hand, like comparing it to other suspensions, I think is a little reckless in my opinion. Like the Calvin Ridley suspension, players gambling on the National Football League is a problem. Like it may they had to set a precedent to be like, hey, we're not going to tolerate this. But this seems like as Christian said, it seems like a slap on the wrist.
It's a problem, you can compare the suspensions when you look at it like, all right, what do you deem more inappropriate? Right? Like, again, gambling, like, we've seen worse suspensions for less offensive, actions, I guess. Like, gambling, you can't sit here and tell me that gambling is worse than any form of sexual misconduct. It's not. Right? Like, I used to state all the time how every time a team was talking to Michael Vick after the dogfighting stuff, they would protest that. But I'm like, this player has this, that, and the third, and y'all worried about dogfighting? Like, there's worse things out there that could have been done. And 6 games, 6 games is, I don't know what's more frustrating, the fact that he only got 6 games right now, or when after this whole thing was announced, he goes outside, like he's at training camp, and the Browns fans were cheering for him. Right, like that was the thing. Like that was the thing today. They after the suspension was announced, he's trotting out to the field to start practice, and Browns fans were cheering for him. And now that he faced this judge, she gave him 6 games. Now he waits on Roger Goodell, who could add more games to that. Because initially the NFL wanted 12 games and a fine, a heavy fine. Like this dude got 6 games, and none of that $45 million that he getting this year is touched. That's
he's not even getting that money this year. Like his contract is set up such that like he basically had a $1 million salary for this season, so he wasn't going to lose that much money if he got suspended for the entire season. The Browns they knew like something was going to happen, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna backload your contract. So even if you get suspended, you're gonna be fine. You're still gonna make all the money. You're gonna still make all your money. It sets kind of a bad precedent too. Like this is obviously a bad situation, and they haven't handled it well. And this justification that like, oh yeah, you didn't play it all last season, that has nothing to do with this
at all.
Like those things are not. Those conversations are not relevant to this.
And I remember when Big Ben got accused of SA, he had 1 accusation and got 6 games. He got the same amount of games. And it was reduced to 4.
All right, David, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's better?
No, it's still the same. I can be tolerated though. So I'll just whenever you finish making your points, I'll just mute you. So go ahead.
Yeah, I remember when Roethlisberger got in trouble, and he got the 6 games, and it was reduced to 4 for good behavior. Like I told TJ earlier, man, like there's an image issue in the NFL right now that they just can't seem to break away from. This is a horrible look for the league, and a player who had so much who has so much potential. I know he's still fairly young. Came off the best year of his career in 2020. Didn't play at all last year for obvious reasons. And to be honest with you, I don't even think he's going to play this year. I think the NFL is going to push this to a year.
I would be semi-shocked if that happened. I think they're gonna. I think the NFL is gonna go with whatever verdict the judge decided. I don't think they're gonna push this.
No, they're
I mean,
gonna.
I could be wrong. Obviously I spend a whole lot of my life being wrong, but I think the NFL is going to let this be the decision. Like I don't think they're going to get involved. Deshaun Watson's already said he's not going to appeal the suspension. This is, in my opinion, I think this is going to be it. It's going to be 6 games. I don't think the NFL is going to push it any further than this.
No, yes, they are. Yes, they are. Like you cannot go through all of this, and like if it was 8 games, then maybe the NFL would have just left it alone. That's because it's 8 games. 6 and no fine. Oh yeah, yeah. We got it's some conversation to be had. We got to talk this. We got to talk on this one. Because this is you not finna get off thinking, oh, I got one up over here. No, the one thing the NFL does not like is being shown up.
Yeah,
we
true.
know that. 6 games.
I agree with you guys.
And I think it also interesting that they found a woman to make this verdict. Retired judge. I think if it had been a man making this decision, I think it would have came down even harder on the NFL. That they let this arbitrator make the decision. I'm going to stay by. I don't think they're going to push any more of the suspension. So, yeah. And David Henderson has a comment. Cleveland Browns fan said a woman said that she's not watching a game or attending any practice while Deshaun Watson is the quarterback for the Browns. I bet there's a lot of people that feel the same way. They think that this guy broke the law. They couldn't find enough evidence to really charge him with anything. And I think there are going to be a lot of Cleveland Brown fans that are thinking having the same kind of thoughts. Like, wait, I don't know if I want to root for a team that is supporting this guy as the quarterback.
And I get it. It's what you call it? Like it's he said, she said, but it's he said, she said times 26, right? Like all these women can't be lying. Like they can't be lying. If everybody's saying the same thing, there's some truth to it. Like you met with 64 women over the course of a year. Like what is why? Why? Like so, I don't care. Like he may think it's over, but it's never going to be over. Like his rep is never going to be the same. Any respect that he once had from his peers, most of it is gone, probably, hopefully, and I don't know what Deshaun Watson is going to do to get back into the good graces of the people, because at this point it's bigger than football. I don't care if he wins a Super Bowl. Like what you did is worse. Like bro, winning the Super Bowl is not going to make me forget that. Hey, dude, you did spend a year and a half fighting 26 sexual misconduct allegations. Like I can't just forget that, and it shouldn't be forgotten.
And I mean, he's still. Yeah, I know a lot of people want to talk about how he hasn't shown any remorse, but like the problem is that he still has civil cases that are ongoing right now. Like any good lawyer is going to tell you, like, hey, just don't talk about this at all until everything's done. And that's unfortunately like the fact that this hasn't completely figured out, like it hasn't completely gone through the legal process when it comes to a couple of the civil cases. It's not really allowing him to like really show remorse or like have any opinion on this at all. Like he basically has to just ignore it completely until everything is done the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, because it'd be great. Yeah, it would be great if he was showing him remorse. He's like, hey, yeah, I feel bad about the way that this all transpired, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. But he can't legally. Like, he cannot do that legally.
Go ahead, Kirsten.
Yeah. I mean, TJ made a good point, but I remember in 2015 when the Steelers signed Michael Vick, they had a protest outside of Heinz Field. That's what I'm still calling it. They had protests outside of Heinz Field trying to get Michael Vick off the team. And I'm just saying to myself, I'm like, okay, yeah, I would bash Michael Vick, but what about what your starting quarterback did a couple years ago? I didn't see you protesting that, but the minute Michael Vick walks into your locker room, you want to protest that. Like, oh, okay, like make it make sense. See, here's the problem, with a lot of the United States, there's no transparency. People almost rank what's right and what's wrong. Oh, guy gambled on his team, and he's now suspended.
Legally, by the way.
Exactly, legally, as he's suspended for a whole season. But Deshaun Watson is in the midst of 24 to 26 cases of sexual misconduct, and he only gets 6 games. That's a slap on the wrist. Like, look, wrong is wrong, regardless of what happens and how you do it.
Yeah, 26, I think 25, 24 of them have been settled. One has got 2 of them is just hanging around. But yeah, it's a bad look for the league. This suspension should be. I hope that I'm wrong. I hope the NFL does step in and was like, hey, we're gonna suspend you for either 2 more games or the rest or the entire season. Or maybe the Browns will even. I highly doubt this is going to be the case, but maybe the Browns will step in and be like, "Hey, we're just going to suspend you for the season. We're gonna. I think that feels like the right thing to do here, and we'll figure it out next season."
I got the notification that literally said that now that Deshaun Watson has dealt with this, he now awaits Roger Goodell's ruling, he can make it longer than 6 games. And Roger Goodell, if there's ever a time to make a statement, I get it, what Calvin really did in y'all eyes was, egregious, but keep in mind, it's still legal that he did it.
Right? Yeah, but it puts it. But if the NFL doesn't take a hard line on the gambling, it just opens up a Pandora box that could be.
It's gambling on games that he wasn't playing in, or his team was playing.
I know. The NFL basically had no choice but to take a hard line on it. They
had to. It's how the first time how they figure it out, because it ain't like his whole name was, oh, Calvin Ridley's betting on this game. Let's help Calvin Ridley win this bet. No, it wasn't even like that.
No, but the NFL still had to take a hard line on it, and I'm not. But I think comparing it to that suspension, I think is a little bit. I think it's a little ridiculous.
It's only ridiculous if you just you have to compare does the sentence meet the punishment? Right?
I don't really have a problem with them suspending Calvin Ridley for the entire season if they were going to set a precedent on gambling. As long as gambling continues to become more and more prevalent, in our culture, even every NFL game now has commercials for every gambling app in the world. So yeah, the NFL had to take a hard line, and the NFL didn't take a hard line with Ben Roethlisberger. They didn't take a hard line with Robert Kraft. Remember, he got arrested for solicitation and prostitution. The NFL didn't do shit about it, and this suspension, 6 games for 24 allegations, 23 of them have been settled. One of them is still pending in the civil case. As Kristen talked about at the beginning of the show, the NFL has a real image problem here.
Yeah, they do. And they've been trying to bounce back from this since 2007 with the whole Michael Vick situation. But it seems like every year there's something going on. Look, as far as the Calvin Ridley thing, did he deserve to get suspended? Okay, that's questionable. Yeah. But a full year?
Yeah.
But a full year? A full year? Nah. I don't know about a full year.
Right.
But maybe 8 games, 10 games max. But a full season? Nah, man. Nah. But then you got people like Deshaun Watson who's out here doing what he's doing. And look, that's a slap on the wrist as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you 100%. It for sure is a slap on the wrist. And I hope the NFL does the right thing and steps in and makes this correct. Either fine him a ton of money or suspend him for the rest of the season.
Again, you got to add what's worse, gambling or sexual misconduct. If you think gambling is worse than sexual misconduct, then you seriously got to get your priorities straight. Seriously.
Totally agree with you. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here? The news. Deshaun Watson suspended 6 games for violating the NFL's personal conduct policy. Suspended for 24 women accusing him of sexual assault during massage sessions. Retired Judge Sue L. Johnson made the ruling this morning in a 16-page report, determined that Watson had engaged in sexual assault against 4 therapists identified in the report. Watson reportedly will not appeal the suspension. I think the thing I don't understand here is like they determined that he did this to 4 people, but yet they only figured 6 games is enough. Like, I mean, I hate to go back to Ben Roethlisberger, but he got 4 games for just 1 report.
One. Like, this is 26.
This is 4 times the amount that they at least confirmed. Like, they were able to determine this.
Like, it's like I think that's the what you call it. Like, that's the standard, or that should be like, forget Calvin Ridley's, right? Because again, like, you're comparing to your point, you're comparing a gambling issue to sexual. That's apples to oranges, but there's plenty of examples of players doing sexual misconduct, domestic violence, or whatever, and get like Ray Rice only got 2 games for knocking out his wife, and then the video came out, and because of the video, that pretty much was the last of Ray Rice in the NFL. Like, again, Big Ben got 4 games for one accusation. He has 24 that we know of, and I get it. It's he say, she say. There was no physical evidence, but 26 people who are all saying the same thing cannot be lying. There's some truth to it.
Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And like when we first started analyzing this, it was like 1 or 2. But when you get this many reports, there's no way that it's fraudulent. It's 100% a real situation. And I think the NFL has done a disservice to everyone involved with this suspension, with the way they've handled this entire situation in the first place. Deshaun Watson should have been on the commissioner exempt list from the day one. The first time there was an accusation that came down against Deshaun Watson, and then when they started to pile up, they should have put him on the commissioner exempt list, and that should have been the way he should have sat until this ruling was finalized, until all the criminal stuff, all the civil stuff. Now he's going to get suspended for 6 games unless the NFL steps in, which I will, I reserve my. I hope I'm wrong, but I do not think they're going to do anything. I think they're going to let this ride the way it is. I don't know. It's one of those situations. Christian, TJ, final thoughts. I think this is a bad day for the league. That's all I got to. That's my final thought.
Yeah, of course.
I ain't got nothing else.
Yeah, of course it's a bad day for the league. This just adds on to the issues that are going to continue to pile up for the league as far as that image issue is concerned.
But but unfortunately, Prime Sports World has to cover this stuff when it happens. We like to bring you the latest breaking news. That Deshaun Watson stuff happened this morning, so we wanted to bring it to you guys and give you an update because we talked about it a little bit on the show yesterday when we did the Cincinnati Bengals season preview. So we want to make sure you guys are always keeping you up with the most up-to-date content. This has been Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. We are going to jump back into our season preview series tomorrow, where we're going to start doing the NFC West. We have 4 teams left before the start of the regular season. We got 5 weeks to do it. I think we're going to have a real opportunity to get all that done. What do you think, DJ?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah. Also, I started my new job today. Really had a good day at my new job, so I'm pretty happy about that. This has been Prime Sports World. David Huffman, TJ Hopkins, Kristen Simpson. Thank you for jumping out of your hole there, Kristen, and joining us back on the show, man. We missed you, man, and we missed your insight, my friend.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that, man.
Man, don't give him no welcome back like that. He had every opportunity to come back before the day, and he just wait. Like, come on, man.
David, do me a favor. David, can you do me a favor? Can you mute his microphone? Mute his microphone real quick.
No, I can't do that to TJ.
You can.
But yeah, we're gonna be doing Seattle Seahawks tomorrow. If you want to miss that content, David Huffman, TJ Hopkins, Christian Simpson, gentlemen, what we do here at the Prime, my friends.
We bring the heat.
Yes, we do, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.